Hi everybody, and welcome to I Like Cruise Ships, the YouTube channel, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to a new question and answer video. Today's question actually is a hugely popular and talked about question at the moment on social media groups, and it's about tipping and bringing gifts for crew members on the ship. Of course, a lot of ships were shut down during the COVID kind of shut down in the last 15 to 18 months. And a lot of crew obviously have returned to ships now from being on vacation. And a lot of guests are starting to cruise again. And a lot of guests want to know if crew want things bringing for them or what they can bring to give the crew. Now, there is a few different things that have happened recently where crew couldn't get off in the ports because of a lot of the restrictions. Slowly, each cruise line is getting a lot of the rules rectified, allowing crew members to get off in the ports and go, let's say, shopping or do whatever they want to do, or go to shops and buy things for themselves. So the question I have is from two different people. Actually, in the same group, they kind of replied. So one is from Talia Cooley. Do the employees like prepaid gratuity system? Does staff prefer cash as a gift or miscellaneous items? And there's another question here, a follow on from Angela Wayne. She says, I like to take care of my room steward and servers. What do they really prefer? And really in bold letters. Now, I'm going to answer this from a couple of different angles. So it may be a little bit longer kind of answer, but I'm going to give my opinion and I'm going to give the opinion of someone else, actually. Now, I do actually have quite a lot of friends, obviously, who work on ships. And I did get in contact with a cabin steward who's on the Mardi Gras right now. And I asked him kind of a couple of the questions that I got and how he would answer it. Now, the gratuity system basically that is built into your cruises, the amount that you pay per person, per cruise, per day is divided amongst the cabin stewards, assistant cabin stewards, waiters, assistant waiters, and then the team on Lido, which would be kind of the buffet area, so the servers. So the gratuity that is prepaid would get an amount of that given to the cabin steward. This goes for other cruise lines as well. So if your auto gratuity is left on your account or you've prepaid it before you cruise, then that cabin steward, we're going to talk about cabin stewards particularly here, would get that portion of the gratuity paid into his salary. Okay, so if you were to remove the gratuity, then of course the amount that they would receive would be reduced and would be less. They don't know how much is being removed until typically a cruise or two later when they get paid. They don't know during the cruise that you've removed tips. Of course, if you tell them or not, or if they can't find out, if that makes sense. So they basically just do their job. They do exactly what they do day in, day out, month in, month out. And then the system works itself out, let's say. Now, the whole thing about giving cash tips. Now, basically, if you give cash tips to your cabin steward, that money is his. Now, he doesn't have to forfeit it or give it into somebody or put it into a tip jar, let's say. That money would go to him. Now, in terms of your cabin steward, you would have also an assistant cabin steward, or he or she would have a helper. Now, typically, the cabin steward will get whatever cash tips you get during the cruise and then actually give an amount of that to his helper. That's very common in the industry. It's been going on for years. It's not documented anywhere. It's just a thing that happens. They basically work together. They share the tips together. And that's how it is. Now, also a little bit of a sort of maybe a secret or an unknown element of that is the cabin stewards and the assistant cabin stewards go down to the laundry to pick up towels and linen and things they need for their room cleaning duties, the chemicals, let's say. And typically they'll actually tip the laundry guys as well an amount per cruise for the services that they give to the cabin stewards back. So where they may have a bit of an agreement to pre-arrange the towels for them or pre-arrange the laundry pickup to save the cabin steward time, then they'll give a little bit of a tip as well. So basically it's a you help me, I'll help you kind of situation. So giving cash, I'm going to say cash is king. But basically, for most crew members who go home to their foreign country, let's say Indonesia, Philippines, India, the Caribbean, Europe, and so on, of course, crew members will take that cash home with them, or they'll send it home by something like MoneyGram or some sort of a payment remittance service. Then, of course, that goes back to their family, whatever they want to do when they go on vacation. And cash is king. It's basically something that's basically a spendable value. It's not a gift that, let's say, would be used and then would have no value later, if that makes kind of sense. So yeah, cash would always kind of win out in terms of what you could give your cabin steward, in terms of something you can bring to them over and above maybe your gratuity system. Now, I did actually ask my friend who works on the Mardi Gras what he would like if you were to bring something. And I have the list here. You probably can't quite see it, but I'll put it up on the screen anyway. Now, he did actually say Doritos. Actually, it's not in order here, but number one was deodorants. So I guess if you wanted to bring men's or ladies' things, I guess that's up to you. Some people give items to people randomly, to other crew members. You know, maybe their favorite bartender, their favorite server in the restaurant. I mean, that's up to you how you do that. He said deodorants. He said Doritos, body wash, soap, and salty snacks like peanuts or cashews. Generally, sometimes even myself like to have a beer after work to relax, and some peanuts or some sort of snacks, Doritos, would go down a treat. Now, in terms of soaps, body wash, deodorants, I mean, they're fairly generic kind of things. Obviously, to choose which flavor, that would be very difficult to know that kind of thing. But crew, particularly the cabin stewards, who I know, and this particular guy there, would be very caring of any kind of, let's say, personal care item that you bring. I mean, whether you know if they like a certain flavor or taste or smell, that's really the luck of the draw, I guess. So, yeah, he gave a little bit of a rundown. Now, I have watched a particular video, actually, it's talking about YouTube, where one of the workers on a Royal Caribbean ship did a bit of a rundown of things to bring. Now, he actually was a staff member on the ship, not a crew member. Now, there is a bit of a different, category of crew member. There's officers, staff, and crew, and different, let's say, privileges, if you like, and how much shore leave you would have and how much time you would have off the ship. And he did actually mention he'd like socks. Now, I'm pretty sure, of course, a lot of people would be accepting of gifts, but I'm pretty sure my cabin steward that I spoke to isn't sort of so bothered about socks. It's a bit of a weird request for what this guy asked for, but for me, socks I don't think would be something very suitable. And he also said about bringing football jerseys or team memorabilia. Now, again, this is something that's probably a little bit too personal maybe to what he wanted, and not sort of a general thing that crew members would want. Now, of course, when the ships are based in America and they go back home to their countries, it's kind of cool to have like a Yankees hat or a Miami Heat baseball cap or something like that. But, it's really, that'd be down to where you live and if you wanted to give something like that as a gift. But let's say number one is cash. Number two is Doritos, followed by personal care items. And then salty snacks was number five. So what do they really prefer? I'm going to say they're not probably really bothered about socks, about hats, about, Nike trainers or anything like that. I mean, the one thing that's important is crew members do have a lot of things provided to them on board. And one is the ability to do shopping online. So crew members can basically shop from Amazon, from eBay, from whatever website, Alibaba. And the ship does have a mailing address, which is in Miami. And then it would get sent to the ship at whatever point they'd send the mail, each cruise. Generally, a lot of ships that have a home port, for instance, let's say the Mardi Gras in Port Canaveral, there is crew centers where when you get off the ship, there's an address at a crew center where you can get stuff sent to. And when you get off in the port, you can go and grab that package, or another crew member would go and bring a few on board for each other. If you were on a cruise out of Galveston, right off the gangway where the ship's dock, there is actually a crew shop right there. And you can use that address to mail things to. And I've seen even right through to the captain on the ships, through every crew member using those local mail services. So they could order something during a 7-day cruise or 4 and 5 day cruise, have it literally next day delivered, and then you can pick it up in the port when the ship arrives within that 4 or 5 day cruise or 7-day cruise, and have that item right there for you. Generally mailing it to a Miami address and then getting it to the ship can typically take, let's say, anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 weeks. If, for instance, something was mailed to Miami on a Wednesday and the ship's in port on the Thursday, it's not going to reach that next day. It'd be the cruise after. So the crew members do have the ability to get things sent to them, mailed to them. Most crew won't get things sent from their family from other countries. But in the ports of call, like in Cozumel, there is actually a crew shop right there in the terminal. I'll actually put a link to that video if you want to go there shopping yourself maybe, and you can actually see sort of some of the crew members, what crew members buy in that shop. Most crew members, when they get off and they go to these crew shops, like in Galveston, in Port Canaveral, in Miami, in Cozumel, they have a lot of, let's say, ethnic snacks. So a lot of pot noodles and chips and snacks from the countries where the crew members are from, particularly Philippines, India, Indonesia. So there isn't a lack of things you can buy off in the ports. There's plenty of stuff. I mean, if you get off in Cozumel, for instance, and go to the supermarket, it's going to be mostly Mexican items, and maybe I don't like a lot of the different chips and snacks in Cozumel personally, so I'd be happy to find something more that I enjoy. Back to Doritos, I guess, number 2 on the list. So I hope this answers the question and gives you a little bit of knowledge about how crew members are at the moment on the ships. Obviously, this is relevant anytime. I mean, guests or yourself, maybe you've cruised years ago and used to bring things for the crew and still do. I mean, I know even working on board myself, you'd actually see sometimes guests walking around with like a shopping bag of lollies and snacks and candies, and just giving out to every crew member they see. And like, oh, let you pick a candy out of the bag, and I'd get like a Kit Kat, mini Kit Kat. And on a sea day, and someone to give me a mini Kit Kat, it may seem trivial, but it was the best thing I could ever receive. You know, some sort of like a chocolate bar or something like that. So, I mean, also even in a small way, a cabin steward could use a chocolate bar or something like a snack or something like that as a trading commodity with another crew member as well. So they may trade with their own roommate or another, let's say, cabin steward, as we're talking about here. So a chocolate bar or a Hershey bar or something like that can go a long way as a trading commodity on board. I know it seems very strange, but I know for me, if I want to maybe get an extra dish from the dining room, I can get hold of one of the waiters who may be able to get me sort of like a lobster or a shrimp plate on a formal night. And then I'd sort of see him in the mess after work at midnight, and I'd trade him for like a Snicker bar or a couple of Snickers bars that I'd get from the shop. And I know that seems very strange in terms of this story, but it's very relevant. So if you brought some kind of snacks like that, it would always go down as well. But that's just for me. So basically, Talia and Angela, thanks very much for the question. I know it's kind of my take on it, and it may be not necessarily the next person's take, but it's as close as I can give you an answer. I know it's a little bit long, this video, but thanks for listening and thanks for watching. If you are watching this for the first time, take a look at the channel. I'll put a video for you right up here, right where the screen is over here, for you to watch some more videos, and you can maybe follow along with the channel. I will post more of these question and answer videos in the coming weeks. The more questions I can get, the more I can give back. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to give it a thumbs down, that's up to you. I mean, how you uh, uh, interact with the channel is up to you, and how you take what I'm saying is up to you. I've got no worries either way. Post something in the comments if you like, and maybe share this with another friend or family member or in a Facebook group, as you wish. And if you want to follow the channel, you can always subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching I Like Cruise Ships, the YouTube channel. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye.